Welcome back, Kim.
Hi, Jen. How are you?
Excellent. So we had last week off. We're
Yes,
back
we did.
for this week.
Yay.
And we want to talk about the boundaries of ourselves as mediums this week.
Yes. So I have a hopefully short story. So the other day I was watching a very famous medium, no names mentioned, on TikTok. And this medium, male medium, I'll say male medium, he was talking about a reading that he was doing with somebody. The live person came in, the recipient of the reading came into his office. He was doing the reading, and the spirit person was had committed suicide. So he tells the recipient of the reading, I have a gentleman coming through that crossed themselves over. And he says, oh God, I don't want to hear from him. And he said, oh, he says, I'm really sorry, sir. He says, I'm really sorry to say this to you, but I can't read for you. And the live person says, well, why not? He said, because you just disrespected the communicator, and I'm not going to read for you. But what I will do is I will give you a name of a reputable medium. So I thought, how great was that he just, and this particular medium is my favorite. He's like my favorite. It's like there, more than Gordon Smith. And I love Gordon Smith, but this one's my top favorite. And because this particular medium is very ballsy, and I like it. I like it a lot because I've seen him in not private, but in auditoriums where people were getting rowdy and yelling. And I heard him say one time, I know I'm in New York, I get it, but you know what? You don't settle down, I'm walking off the stage. So I was like, yes. So that kind of set me up. And this was years ago when I saw that, and it kind of set me up knowing very well that, I can do that. Like, I don't need to have people walk all over me. I don't need to have to prove myself every time and be, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but, I don't have to be a doormat to these people. I can set my own boundaries. I mean, he did it. Yes, he's in that position where he could do it, but I still can do baby steps doing that. So what do you think?
I think it's good to know where we are with all of that.
Right.
And to honor that each medium is different with that. Does that make sense? So, it doesn't mean that, in the example you gave, that we're saying that everybody has to do that, but to know where your own self is, because I know I was doing a charity event, and we were doing little small groups, and there was somebody in my group. I had realized he had been drinking before he came to the group, and it was disruptive for the rest of the group. And I just, and I had to say, I'm sorry, I just can't read for you in my group. And I took him to the desk and made sure that he got another group with a medium that was more comfortable with, because there's a medium that, is more comfortable with that kind of than does that make sense? So he was still able to be served in that arena, but not by me, because I was not the right medium for him in that circumstance with the other people that I had in that group.
Well, the point being is, it's not so much that that's what you have to do, but you have a choice.
Exactly.
So a lot of people don't think that they have a choice, that person comes and you have to read for them no matter what. And you're squirming in your seat, and you're like, you can't wait for this reading to be done. You can end it. It's like you have a choice.
We do.
You have A or C, continue reading, B, not continue reading, C, not continue, and offer them a name of somebody else that you respect. So, there are choices that you have, but a lot of people feel that because we're in a because we're in this type of position where every single time we do a reading, we feel we need to prove ourselves, that we're not fakes, that we're not fraudulent.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is, not every reading is going to be glorious. Not every reading is going to be stellar. It's just not going to be. So in a sense, we feel like, all right, we have to kind of walk on eggshells here. And no, we don't. And you brought up a really good point about the alcohol. There was one time where I read two people, I was doing a home readings. There were 6 people lined up, did the first 4, they went fine. 2 other people, they were drunk off their ass. I didn't realize it till later on, but I continued to read them, and the reading went like crap. When I asked my mentor, what should I have done? She said, you don't read them. You just don't read them. You don't read them. And I'm like, oh, that's a novel idea. You know, I'll read that. You know, okay. And she's like, just tell them no, that you can't read them at this time. If they want to reschedule with you, fine, but you're not going to read them. I said, okay. She said, I'm sure that kind of just messed you up for the rest of the day. So it was the last 2. She still, you know, and so I had an incident where I was reading a woman, this is like years later, a few years ago, and I was reading at a venue, and this woman drunk. And I didn't even start the reading, but I could tell that she was, you know, very drunk, and she's banging on the table. I want to hear from blah, 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 you know. So anyhow, I said to her, you know what? I said, did you drink? I have a few. And I said, oh, okay. I said, well, I'm not going to read you tonight. She goes, why the F not? I said, because you're in need of reading, and I'm not going to read for you. And she gets up and she like pulls something off the table. She goes over the table. She looks at me. She goes, you suck. I said, I don't even get to read for you yet, and you already came to the conclusion I suck. Okay. You know, so then there's that. So
yeah, when we have to, and there's no reason. And I don't know how healing that would be anyway for anyone, any situation to be that way. I know I had to, when I first really started being asked to be at places, I realized that some of these places, there was an entertainment element involved, you know, because I was asked to do a charity event, and I don't mind doing the charity events, but I was like put in a corner, and it was supposed to be a lighthearted charity event. So I had my tarot cards and whatever. Right. But then I realized about an hour in, everything changed, you know, because people were at the bar and all this other stuff. And, you know, and the friend that had arranged for me to be there, I'm like, this doesn't feel right anymore. It's not, you know, I said, I don't. And then I realized for me, because even with some of the psychic fairs and stuff, and again, this is just for me, that when it comes to the entertainment aspect, I'm not into it. You know, I'm there for me, I'm there for a reason, you know, for that service element. And some of the fairs, and not all of them, but some of the fairs, and then this and that, you know, it's really, oh, I'm here to see what you can do. I'm here to, because, oh, you're the medium, or right. I remember the first event I did like that. I walked in, and again, this is my first one, and all the tables are set up. Everybody has their like whatevers, you know, so the tarot reader had their whatevers, and all the little crystals, and all the little balls, and it looked really neat. And there was one that said she was an angel reader, and she had like little statues of angels, and everybody has their little tables all. And I came in with nothing, absolutely nothing. And the person that asked me to be there, they're like, well, where's your stuff for your table? I'm like, I don't know. Did we need stuff for our table? I was supposed to read, right? So, you know, it was a big like realization to me that there's this vision or aspect or entertainment part of some of that is just not me. So I just started saying no to a lot of them.
Right.
Because that's my boundary. Does that make sense? You know, it's honoring where your boundary is, I think, is what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, there was I remember one time I went to a New Year's Eve thing. I was asked to go with this tarot card reader that sometimes I work with, And she said to me, she goes, I don't know how you're going to like this, because she knows the way I am. And she goes, but I can try it. I'm like, okay. We go there, and she goes to the door where we're going to be in, because the woman had said, we met this woman at the door, and she goes, oh, you ladies are back there and go through that door. And Lori got there first. She saw the sign, and all of a sudden she turned around and she covered the sign. And I went, what? And she went, you're not going to like it. And I said, what? And she moved and said, fortune tellers. And I went, what in the, And she's like, I know, Kim, I'm really sorry. I told them not to do that. And I said that I didn't mind, but Kim may have a problem with it. And the woman comes along and she says, oh, you have a problem with that sign? And I'm like, I'm not a fortune teller. I'm a medium. I don't know what the difference is. All right, let me explain to you what the difference is. Now I'm getting very indignant, and a blah, 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 blah. And she's like, oh, do you want me to change the sign? Yes, I do. And she's like, oh, you do? I said, tarot card medium is good.
Yeah.
She said, okay. So she changed the sign.
Yeah, sometimes I think staying in our boundaries is a little bit of, or honoring our boundaries is a bit of educating others and I think that's just like anything. I listened to the person's name is Alok, and they are a poet, an activist for non-gender clothing and non-binary, and I love listening to what they have to say, because a lot of it is all about, these are my boundaries and this is who I am. And if I have to educate you about that, then I'm going to, and then after you're educated, well, then there's no reason not to honor these kind of boundaries, at least from their perspective,
Right.
So I think, again, I think it's okay what you did, to have that education moment and say, well, no, I'm not a fortune teller. And I'm a medium,
Now I think I was a little bit nicer to her than I'm projecting right now, because I'm getting excited thinking about it. But there's times where it can come off abrasive. I get that, but it's just that it could be my tone or something. I don't know. It could be the Jersey thing. I have no idea.
You're a Jersey girl. You're a Jersey girl.
I am a Jersey girl through and through. There's no denying that. But no, there's times where I just have to be. I realize that I'm crossing a sensitive area, and I need to be as soft and gentle as Kim can possibly be without sounding phony.
That's it too.
You're patronizing them and whatnot. They know. So I have to kind of, all right, I'm going to have to go in this direction here, because yeah.
I want to take that word phony you said, though, because I wrote down this other point. We were talking about what to talk about today. And that is, and you also said earlier, not to have to prove yourself. And I think if we honor who we are and the way that we connect, right? And totally honor that, no matter what the perception is from, like, I don't know, TV or whatever a friend said another medium did, or, any of that, then that's really what's necessary, to not try to be anything else than what you already are in that moment. And if another person is not accepting of that, then that's when it's over and you move on to the next one.
You just reminded me of something that I told you about. No names mentioned. Again, no names mentioned. But it was brought to my attention by somebody else that it took workshops or did something affiliated with a particular church or whatever, and then brought up somebody else's name that was a medium outside of that church. Okay. And there's a leader of that church. She's very well known. So just for the sake, I'm just going to say the leader of the church is Ann Jones. Okay. So this person says, well, Joe Smith is no Ann Jones. And I was just like, oh, you be. That is so.
They're not. Of course they're not. They're their own.
I've seen so-and-so, damn, and great medium, great nights, sometimes not so good nights, you know, and the other, because we all have them, and the other way around too. So it could have, you know, but when that person said that, you know, Tom Jones, whatever I call him, you know, can't compare to this one. I was just like, wow, that's being very, very judgy, and it's not nice. That's not nice.
Yeah, it's not, and I again, it's are we willing in the community to honor each other,
Exactly.
what is possible in the moment for that person, and you know, and honor that.
Yeah. All right.
I
Are we
think
done?
we exhausted it. I don't have any other notes.
I know. I'm like,
So if you all have something you'd like Kim and I to chat about, please send us a message, and thank you for supporting this effort that we have going on here. Bye.
thank you. Thank you very much.